Hello, my name is Rich Custer. I go by the title of the presentation, Common Sense Custer, and I am doing an introduction to Dr. Colleen Huber and my interview with her. Dr. Colleen Huber is the owner and operator of the cancer clinic that I attend, and that cancer clinic is Nature Works Best. Now, why do I attend a cancer clinic? Because I'm a cancer patient. And I want to tell my story and the key learnings that I have concerning cancer, which many will probably be heard for the first time by you. But for certain, here's a couple things that will be contained within my presentation or discussion. That my goal is not to survive 5 years. That seems to be the cancer industry goal. It's not my goal. And my goal is not to have my life marginally extended, which seems to be the FDA goal concerning cancer drugs. It's not my goal. My goal is to get my life back, just like it was. That's my goal. So I want to talk about that and how to go about doing that. And I want to introduce Dr. Huber. And with that, I think we'll get started. Hello again. This is Rich Custer. I'm here at the Nature Works Best Cancer Clinic. And after a lot of troubles with me and equipment, we're finally going to get going here. And I have got with me Dr. Colleen Huber, and I am going to discuss cancer and some of the things that I've found out that are earlier in this podcast that I've already gone over a little bit. And we're going to have separate podcasts. I'm going to put Dr. Huber on a separate video that will also be on the web. But what I wanted to do is I've got quite a few questions that I've always wanted to discuss with her. And so I'm going to go through those. And the first and most important one for me anyway, and for the audience I hope, is to understand a little bit of how you got here.
Yes.
What's your story to get to this point in your life with this cancer clinic and helping so many people?
That would have started many years ago. I was 17 years old, and I said to my dad, I want to go to medical school. He said, oh no, don't you go to medical school. You're going to be one of those homeopaths. You will go to jail. Now, this was the 1970s, because I'm getting up there. So anyway, Dad, I think, may have been right. I mean, this was a time in which, in the last century, natural medical offices, let alone natural cancer offices, were raided, including by the FDA. Files seized. It was pretty brutal back then. Yeah, it really was. It was quite awful in the 1970s because, back then, something that could have possibly been an alternative accepted by the public, as a treatment for cancer, was not well accepted. Alan Gaby, MD, is still practicing, to the best of my knowledge. I don't think he's retired yet. Anyway, California doctor, he was one of the victims of these FDA raids, yet... I should have gotten his book out here. I have his book is about this thing called nutritional medicine. He's been doing this for 30 years. Oh, that's it right over there. It's the olive colored book. I should have brought it out. Anyway, I didn't know we would be talking about him. But anyway, long story short, it was very difficult to practice back then. The FDA was absolutely virulently opposed to it and has been very much opposed until quite recently, when there might be a bit of a more open mind now that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is head of HHS, and he has appointed people who are more open-minded than in the past. So we'll see what happens. It's still young in the
Wow.
this administration. I believe we're about 9 months in at this point.
I never realized that it was that much of an issue in the 70s.
Yeah,
It,
right.
One of
Yeah,
the
Dad had said, you will go to jail. He said, you're good at foreign languages, become a translator. And I thought, oh, I like foreign languages. Okay, I'll do that. And I did that for 15 years.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so I went to medical school at quite a bit older age than the average medical student. And then, and it wasn't until then that I completed the medical training. I did an internship, which was extremely helpful and informative. And then I started this clinic in 2006. Mm-hmm.
So you came this path versus going a regular medical doctor path.
Well, actually, I started off in a conventional medical curriculum. And if you don't mind, I'd rather not name the school because who needs a defamation fight? But okay. After I spent 15 years translating foreign languages and everything, I went back to Dad and said, Dad, times have changed. I still want to go to medical school. He and I both agreed. Not that I was waiting for permission, but I'd like to have his blessing, He's passed on now. But anyway. By that time, we agreed that times had changed enough that maybe it was worthwhile going to medical school, even if I was going to be naturally oriented. I said, Dad, what I really want to focus on is nutrition. Hippocrates was right. Let food be your medicine. Let your medicine be your food. It makes sense. He said, it's absolutely made sense. He said, that's the way I raised you. And he did raise me that way. And he had always been of that mind, too. So we agreed it was a better time. Times had changed. It wasn't any longer the 20th century. Now in the 21st century, there might be a difference. It was right on the cusp that I started to, I had already done some pre-med courses. Where I was going with that, I think I might have lost my thread.
That's
but,
okay.
Oh yes, I did go to a conventional medical curriculum. But do you know why I transferred? Because nutrition education, as Andrew Weil, MD, said, is absolutely abysmal in the conventional medical schools. I'd started there, and I got most of my basic science courses, most of the academic part of the curriculum there, before transferring to naturopathic school. But the reason I wanted to transfer, even though I had to do additional courses, because there was all that nutrition, all that botanical medicine, and even though I would have to spend more total years, it was worth it for me to transfer, because there was no nutrition there, and that's what I needed. The thing is, the conventional medical program had oversold the conventional aspect of their curriculum. So by the time that particular class graduated, and friends of mine that started out in the conventional program graduated, I attended the graduation. There was a good friend of mine there. He had been admitted the same time that I was, and he was standing there in his cap and gown in an iconic image for me that I'll never forget. He was angry. One should not be angry on the day of one's graduation from medical school. He was angry. He said they oversold the natural aspect of the curriculum, because they had promised both him and me, oh, you're interested in natural medicine? You've come to the right place.
Yeah, right.
But it was false. It was false. He and I took different paths. I said, you know what? They're not teaching nutrition, which is what I need. I'm transferring to naturopathic. He said, okay, I'll stay and I'll try to get a good residency. But what was so frustrating for him was there was no decent residency for nutrition training. He was stuck with the conventional medical program, and he was very dissatisfied. So we took those two different paths. I haven't looked back. I haven't regretted it, even though, we're not covered by insurance.
But when you say nutritional,
yeah,
people like us,
yeah,
in the audience and myself, I'm going, that's like a diet. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's great. But what is, at least what all these people that come here and sit, they're going, wow, you know so much in all your videos about how the body works, how the cells work, and how did you get from nutrition over to cancer for the clinic? That transition, because now you're saving people's lives with the medicine that you're giving them, but how did that happen?
Well, nutrition, of course, was my favorite aspect of the naturopathic curriculum, but it can't be underestimated that it's 6 successive courses, and really, it's applied advanced biochemistry. So, the naturopathic students are really learning quite a bit of nutrition, whereas in the conventional program, there was almost nothing, absolutely nothing. It was, oh, this is the RDA. the recommended daily allowance of vitamin C is 70 milligrams per day, which is an absurdly low amount. But, back there at the cusp of the turn of the century, they were still saying that. And I think they still are. The only now in 2025 is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. putting some pressure on the medical schools. You're going to have to improve your curriculum with regard to nutrition. But back then it was quite abysmal. Okay, so then there was a lot of nutrition background. So how did I apply that to cancer patients? I had wanted to, another aspect of that conversation with my dad when I was 17 years old. See, the part of what stimulated me to say that was we had read about Sloan Kettering Clinic in New York that had discovered that an extract from apricot pits was killing tumors in mice. And then Dad said, look at this news article. A judge just made that illegal. I said, Dad, how could that be? If it's killing tumors in mice, it must be really great. Why would it become illegal? And then we both got a little bit more red-pilled. Dad had been already, but it was certainly an educational experience for everybody who had read about that. Anyway, it turns out I was very interested in that, and I said, yeah, I want to help cancer patients. Cancer was already one of the leading causes of death of that time, way back in the 1970s, and I said, I want to do this work with cancer patients.
And all from the article about the apricots and the judge saying
it was partly that. It was partly the way Dad raised me. The idea of Hippocrates saying, "Let food be your medicine, medicine be your food." And Dad also had us raise an organic garden. It was just a little World War II victory garden. Are you familiar with those?
Yes.
Yes. But so back east, it was amazing because it was several times the size of this room for $3 per year rent. It was just amazing. We grew everything back there. So anyway, it was just, but it was the highlight of my childhood. I have to say, I loved going to the garden and, even pulling weeds and figuring out, what to plant here now that this row is empty. What are we going to put there, next time? And it was just so much fun. And so, I guess the interest in the food and nutrition began there. But, okay.
Well, how'd you open the clinic? How did this happen?
Okay, fast forward
fast forward to
oh,
here.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's very interesting. But I'm trying to connect the dots here. You get involved in cancer. You want to do cancer.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you're helping hundreds and thousands of people here.
Well,
how'd that happen?
There was a little bit of a transition because this month marks 19 years since I started the clinic right here at the same address in Tempe, Arizona. Yeah, it was 19 years ago this month. And so that was after an internship, which followed, I was in the naturopathic program, which followed the part of the conventional that I did before I transferred. So I had worked with professors who were also interested in cancer and helping cancer patients.
Okay.
And, I had been reading about the work of Linus Pauling, and the Reardon Clinic had already been starting to offer some good help. Abram Hoffer had been starting to write about how vitamin C fights cancer. But what I was interested in is the metabolic pathways are not isolated. It is like a tapestry. If you look at them,
what is a metabolic pathway?
Well, may I bring in a prop to
No.
show you?
Okay.
I got the prop
Bring
right
in a
over
prop.
there.
She's
going to
bring in a prop.
Okay.
Bring in a prop.
Yeah, I like to.
Oh, that's what it is. I remember that
infamous-
from your videos.
The infamous prop, and I say infamous because I better not take credit for this.
I'll bring it a little closer.
Yeah, this is made by the SigmaAldrich.com
Wow.
corporation. So this is their chart of metabolic pathways. Now,
This is how the body works.
okay, folks, there will not be a test. But let me just give you some overall things to see. Different nutrients are written here, and are they acting in isolation? No, they act together. They cooperate with each other. The nutrients in our bodies work together to accomplish different goals that our cells need, different functions. Just another overall thing. This yellow blob here is the mitochondrion. The mitochondrion is the nexus, the center, the engine, shall we say, of cell energy. And many of our nutrients come here and interact with the mitochondria. All right. Now, just one other overall thing. I don't want to get into the weeds of details today. Also, because I didn't refresh myself on every little function. I need a review myself of this kind of thing. But here we have some nutrients in red. Here we have nutrients in blue, and here we have nutrients in green. Those represent the three major categories of food. Proteins break down to amino acids here in red. Here are the fats in blue. Here are the carbohydrates in green. The carbohydrates can be a little tricky. And one thing I've asked people since the beginning of starting this clinic is please don't have a carbohydrate-heavy diet. Please don't have simple carbohydrates because they will break down into sugars. Sucrose is regular table sugar. Glucose is even more simple.
Why is that important?
It's important because when you eat a lot of sugar all at once, that sugar comes flooding down this pathway and it's heading straight to the mitochondria. And the mitochondria cannot deal with a lot of sugar. In fact, Stephanie Seneff of MIT says cancer actually arises in the body as a machine to serve a purpose. What possible purpose could it serve? Because it's kind of a problem. We need to get rid of it. Yet it performs a function, and the function is that when there's too much sugar here, cancer creates a machine or a pathway to take it from this breakdown product pyruvate over to lactate, that it is an off-ramp of excess sugar. When you get more sugar than your body wants, this is what your body does with it. It takes it here to this off-ramp, so it won't come poisoning the mitochondria.
And when it goes over there, does it go to cancer cells?
That is the cancer machine right there. That's cancer serving a purpose. The purpose that it serves is taking too much sugar and getting it away from a really poisonous toxin. But that's a situation where the solution is worse than the problem. You probably would even prefer to feel too sick. I ate too much ice cream, or I ate too much sugar just now, and I feel horrible. You'd probably actually prefer that than get a case of cancer. Yet, cancer arises as the solution to the problem. This is the cancer machinery. This is the lactate dehydrogenase enzyme. Now, what's one way that we fight cancer? With alpha lipoic acid, because that specifically opposes this enzyme, specifically shuts down the cancer machinery.
Okay, alpha lipoic acid.
Yes.
Right?
It's something that we offer here at the clinic.
One of the doctors here, Dr. Wright, asked me to read a book on alpha lipoic acid.
Yeah.
And if you can possibly get to know alpha lipoic acid, it's an amazing antioxidant that does marvelous things for your body and fights cancer.
Yes.
Is that correct?
It fights cancer by this.
By cutting it off.
Exactly. It interrupts the cancer machinery. It is the stick in the spoke of the bicycle wheel, so to speak. It just stops the machine from going.
Because cancer, and correct me when I'm wrong, I'm no doctor, guys, but one of the things I've learned a lot from Dr. Huber and Dr. Wright here at the clinic, and the thing that's very important to me in choosing this path forward versus traditional oncology was I could understand how these drugs that you're giving, and they're all natural, so they do you no harm, how they work.
Yeah.
Because it's not if it's going to work. This is how they work, because that's how your body works.
Yeah.
So alpha lipoic acid stops the sugar, but we put the sugar in our bodies in excess.
Well, yes, and and here's the thing. People probably are not really thinking of having excess sugar if they, for example, drink a glass of orange juice. Because you say, well, the oranges are fresh, they're even organic. I just squeezed it myself. Drink the glass of orange juice. But what are you doing at the moment? You're adding so much sugar in liquid form. Now, in liquid form, as opposed to being chewed slowly and digested slowly like solid food, the liquid form gets that sugar right into your bloodstream. That's why a hypoglycemic person, one with low blood sugar, will be told to drink a glass of orange juice to bring the blood sugar up. Well, for them, it brings it from very low back up to normal. But for a person who's drinking a lot of orange juice every day, or a lot of, say, soda is much worse, you're taking a lot of sugar and just flooding it in liquid form down this pathway, and that's not good. That's going to start the cancer machinery. It gives cancer a reason to exist. Okay, so what's our purpose at this clinic? To take away cancer's reason for existing. We take it away by, let's reduce sugar, guys. I joke that I'm the Grinch that stole the Christmas cookies. Yes, I am. Why? Because I say, please try to find alternative things to eat other than sugar.
One of the things, and I want to kind of focus in on the cancer treatments.
Shall I put this away?
Yeah, you can put that away now. That I understand.
Okay.
The reason why I chose you guys, because now I've done about 65 high-dose vitamin C treatments.
Okay, can I just say one thing?
What?
Not just high-dose vitamin C.
No.
We're drawing from 20 to 24 different nutrients. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
And one, you haven't seen all the slides behind it.
Okay.
But what your bag does, the intravenous bag does, you've got all the other natural remedies in there that help fix what the cancer has caused.
Yeah.
The vitamin C, high-dose vitamin C attacks and kills the cancer. Alpha-lipoic acid stops the proliferation. And you've got all these other things in there, natural ingredients, that try to right the wrong that has been done to your body.
Yeah.
So everything I have set with people in the outer clinic here to where you get your treatment.
Yeah.
And I've seen people that were sick 3 weeks ago, and you could tell that doesn't look good. And 3 weeks later, they look a whole lot better. They're getting well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I looked at that and I'm going, wow. And you compare that to chemotherapy. Huge
before we
difference.
compare, can I just say one thing about what you just said? And I just want to say that the reason I don't say vitamin C IVs, that I say nutrient IVs, is because, there are clinics out there who will give you only vitamin C in IV form. Only that. But the reason that we are putting lysine, amino acid lysine, and proline in there is because they are both cofactors with vitamin C to build collagen. Okay, now I'm talking about 3 nutrients in the bag. Keep in mind, we're putting 20 to 24 in there. But those 3 help form collagen. You cannot make collagen without it. I mean, vitamin C is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Now, why do you need extra collagen? People might say, well, I'll just go to the store and buy cow collagen and drink cow collagen. No, the thing is, your body has to break that down into component amino acids, come over here to the human and build it up to human collagen. That's kind of an indirect route. But what we're doing is we're taking vitamin C, lysine, and proline, 3 necessary cofactors to create collagen. Why is collagen important? Because it gives us resilience. It gives our body strength, the cells, the tissues in our body strength, so that when a cancer cell comes floating along in the bloodstream, it can't get a hold. We're resilient to it. Okay? But if you don't have enough collagen, if the tissues are weak, cancer can come along and get a foothold and start a new metastasis. You don't want that. And this is why you're not seeing people getting new metastases at our clinic, because we are making sure that we give them adequate substrate, that is resources, to build human collagen, and they're able to be more resilient against new cancer.
Wow.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to add that.
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Because the people out there, I had to make a choice on which path to go.
Yeah.
And as you probably know, the folks in the audience, is that it's real difficult, because naturopathic doctors, naturopathic clinics I have 3 doctors. I have a urologist, I have a hematologist that's also an oncologist, and I have a primary care physician, and then I have the clinic.
Yeah.
3 of those, the first 3, my urologist, primary care physician, and oncologist, literally laughed at me when I told them I was coming here for treatments for cancer. My urologist said, "Why don't you go over to Fry's and get a bottle of vitamin C if you want some vitamins?" That really happens, folks, and I know it's going to happen to you. I know people are going to look at you and go, "You can't do that." I sat next to a woman a couple weeks ago in the clinic that her son was going to stop funding her treatments unless he understood more about why it was right. And I encourage you to please go to the website of Nature Works Best, and Dr. Huber has all sorts of these videos on there that will instruct you on how these things work in the body. I never knew a cell was so complicated and so wonderful all at the same time, and I didn't know a dang thing about cancer. But I would like to talk a little bit. I'm going to go to the next slide here, folks. I want to get into some of the things that concern me about traditional oncology and what I like about being here, so you help you make a decision. Traditional oncology doesn't even report remission rates.
Yeah.
They don't even report it. Remission means after treatment, there's no evidence of cancer.
Right.
They don't report it. And the reason they don't report it, because it's so dang low. It's 5% or less.
Yeah.
And that depends on the type of cancer. If you get some cancers early and do it, you can have some remission. But if you've got liver cancer and you expect chemotherapy to put you into remission, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's 5%
or it's
less.
Temporary.
Temporary.
Yeah, and they expect it to be temporary.
And that's the point about the traditional oncology is there's 3 things, and it's a for-profit industry.
Mm-hmm.
There is chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. There's some immune therapy, but those are the primary ones. And they don't cure you.
Yeah.
They do not cure cancer. They don't make cancer go away and stay away.
Right.
Okay, they don't.
Right.
And they cost a heck of a lot of money.
Yeah.
But insurance pays for that.
Yes.
Now, I would love to have you kind of describe in your own words the treatments that are in traditional oncology, treatments here, what your remission rate is, what theirs is, and kind of compare and contrast for people that out there are going, when I was told I had cancer, and I know that's how they feel. You were able to tell me through your video, and then when I came down here, "Hey, Rich, you can have a future." Can you please explain the difference?
Yes, and I think people seeing you explains it better than anything. They can see you're vital, healthy, strong. I mean, lifting all this equipment and everything. And, I mean, would you have been able to do that had you, taken all the chemotherapy? We know that chemotherapy is toxic, and that's how it works. Why would they give you a poison if they want to heal your cancer? Well, the thinking behind it is cancer grows very quickly, and it takes in fuel really quickly. Normal cells are slower to take in fuel. So let's take advantage of that difference, and then the poison is going to kill the cancer before it kills the normal cells, slightly before. So you have people who have died of chemotherapy. Now, when younger relatives realize this, if later in life they get cancer, they'll remember, that dad or mom didn't die of the cancer so much. They died of the chemotherapy, it seemed to them.
Is it that toxic?
Here's the thing. Many people who come here have tried chemotherapy, and so many people who did not know each other said, I knew if I took even one more round of chemotherapy, it would kill me. I was already feeling myself dying with the previous round of chemotherapy, and I said, that's the last one, I'm not doing it anymore. So many people have come here saying that, and I'm talking about from different parts of the country, because people come here from all over the U.S. and sometimes other countries as well. And they become aware of that, or they've seen it happen to a previous relative previously. So
it for those of you who don't know, and it was mentioned a little bit in the other podcast I'm going to have, I go into great detail on that in my words, not as eloquently as you, but in my words, chemotherapy was developed from mustard gas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In World War I, they were doing autopsies on the soldiers.
There's another book over there that talks about that history. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
That happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they found out that bone marrow divides rapidly, just like cancer.
Yeah.
And they found out that the mustard gas destroyed the bone marrow.
Yeah.
So somebody put their brain cap on and said, gee, if mustard gas destroys fast-growing cells, like bone marrow, let's try to take this stuff and create a drug that would kill cancer, because it's fast-dividing.
And they saw it even more visibly with hair, because hair is so much more visible to us than bone marrow. So, it was so poisonous they lost their hair. Oh, why would they lose their hair but not, say, their arm or something? Oh, it's because the hair grows quickly. Oh, but the other cells are not growing as quickly. And also they had GI tract problems, because GI tract cells grow quickly. So, from mouth to anus, chemotherapy can really beat up a person.
So if you're taking chemotherapy, that's why your relatives or yourself or whoever you've taken it, they go, gee, am I going to lose my hair? Gee, I'm
Will
vomiting.
I be able to eat?
Yes. And I have diarrhea.
Yeah.
And then my immune system goes away.
Yeah.
True story for you guys, very quick. My neighbor behind me got cancer. She was taking chemotherapy, and it slowed and stopped the growth of cancer. She was getting better from a cancer standpoint.
It will accomplish that.
It will.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, her immune system got so shot that she got a cold and died.
Yeah.
Because it's gone.
Yeah.
And so that's what it does.
Right.
I don't know of anything good that I can say about chemotherapy. However, it does extend life. Okay, and that's the biggest difference that I can tell you about coming to Nature Works Best and Dr. Huber versus traditional oncology. Traditional oncology will give you 3 to 5 years more to live. Okay, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Here, I can honestly say to you that I can get my life back. It's gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Very exciting.
That's cool.
I'm so happy for you.
Oh, now I have bladder cancer. And there's a lot that I learned about bladder cancer. Just like when you find out you have cancer, you're going to research the heck out of this to make a decision. What I found out about bladder cancer was even the type I had, which was stage 0, okay? I went to a urologist, found out about it, had TURP surgery, did BCG, which is an immune therapy for the thing with standard treatment.
TURP, by the way, for the viewer, transurethral resection of the prostate. I mean, yeah. Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
And so I call it a scrape and burn, because I'm not a doctor, but they took out the tumors. I had 6 tumors in my bladder, put me on the BCG, and at the same time I started the high dose, well, I'm going to call it the nutrient bag here. Yeah. And in October of that year, that happened in June, July. In October of that year, my cancer was gone. Okay, absolutely gone. And I've had 3 scopes since then, and my cancer has stayed away. Now, that's what happens with this. I made that choice, and it works. And the reason I made the choice is because the patients that come here have an 85% remission rate that doctor has documented. This isn't documented patients, all types of cancer. 85%. Traditional oncology is less than 5%. Why in the world isn't this on ABC Nightly News every single day?
Oh.
Why?
Well, the opposite actually happened. Okay, there was a documentary made about our clinic and a couple other natural cancer clinics with great results against cancer. And it was called Cancer Can Be Killed. And it was on Amazon Prime.
I saw that
Yes.
before I came here. That was
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I came for the interview.
But why indeed? Chemotherapy is what keeps hospitals in the black, economically speaking, financially speaking. You know, whereas they lose money very often for emergency care, and they will gain lots of money for chemotherapy and radiation therapy for radiation oncology.
Slide up just a little.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, so that documentary came out in 2017. It was award-winning. It won Docs Without Borders International Film Festival. It won Sonoma honorable mention, I believe, at the Sonoma Film Festival. It won some other depth of field international film festival, and it was on Amazon Prime. The phones were ringing off the hook pretty much around here, and because it had shown the results that we're having at the clinic, and then Senator Adam Schiff of California wrote a letter to Jeff Bezos, then owner.
Okay, now everybody's probably heard of who's Jeff Bezos. That's
Jeff Bezos used to own Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
the previous owner of Amazon.
So a senator
At that time,
writes the owner of Amazon,
who at that time was the richest person in the world,
over your CD,
and said, take that off of Amazon Prime. It was a public letter. Jeff Bezos, the wealthiest man in the world, who probably doesn't have to answer to anybody, took it off within 24 hours. And it's been gone ever since. And people have not heard of it anymore. A lot of people were watching it back then.
Now that can't be true.
I honestly, that is true. He did write it. It's in the public domain. That letter can be searched and found.
So you have a senator of the United States who was then a congressman.
Yes. Now, why is that?
Yeah.
Because the pharmaceutical industry has been the biggest lobbying group in Congress for decades. They own more politicians. This is why, if you're related to a child, that poor child has to get many dozens of vaccines. Why? Because cha-ching, cha-ching, and the pharmaceutical industry loves vaccines. Vaccines are basically, for the red pilling for anybody who's not aware, but vaccines are basically a gateway drug for the rest of pharma. You get enough vaccines and you're going to have some chronic conditions which, what do you know? We have a drug to treat that. Cha-ching, cha-ching. So anyway, this is how, but it's true. And the pharmaceutical industry has purchased many, many, many politicians. Well, Schiff, of course, is one of those. In fact, the maker of the documentary went to Adam Schiff thinking, gee, maybe he would be somewhat empathetic. Schiff said, thanks for the heads up. And he said, take that off of Amazon Prime, and it came off.
Okay, now, for all of you out there to understand this from my perspective, what that means, this animosity in the pharmaceutical industry against naturopathic medicine, there's a real life harm to you and I with that.
Yes.
It's called the FDA. The FDA is responsible for testing drugs out of the industry. There's no drugs that you take that aren't approved by the FDA in this country. Okay? Now, with that, they do the testing on all the chemotherapy, every other immune therapy drug, every drug that comes through, and they test those, and they have endpoints, they call them, that they measure their testing against.
Yeah.
And all those endpoints is did it extend life? Oftentimes by months.
Yeah.
Okay, weeks, not years. I've got information that I went over earlier in this podcast.
Days.
Yes.
A few days.
But between, I think it was the 6 years from 2018 to 2022 or something, right in there, they approved 85 cancer drugs. 85 were approved. Now, out of the 85, 47 of the 85 that were approved did not extend life. Did not, and they approved them anyway because they need the money.
Yeah.
Now, the head of the FDA,
Yeah.
9 out of the last 10 heads have gone to work as executives for the pharmaceutical industry.
Revolving door.
Now-
80% revolving door of not just top echelon, but, lower levels as well.
Now, where it hurts you and I
Yeah.
is that if you don't have the SDA test, you cannot get insurance.
Right.
If the FDA doesn't have the test and doesn't approve your product, your insurance company will not pay for naturopathic medicine.
Exactly.
Now, naturopathic medicine is about 3 or 5 times less expensive than chemotherapy. And you don't have to do it in these every year. Chemo, you have to keep going for a long time. But for this, you can spend $30,000, $40,000 for a complete treatment that's going to put your cancer in remission, but the insurance won't pay for it.
Yep.
Yet the insurance will pay for drugs that don't work, that cost $250,000 a year,
Yeah.
all because of that. And the government won't test, won't step in because of the same reason that Adam Schiff told Jeff to take it off the air,
Yeah.
is all the money for their campaigns and everything else comes
Yep.
from the pharmaceutical.
Yes.
When you look at your TV, how many ads do you see from pharmaceutical companies?
I
When
think
you
it's
open a
most,
magazine,
Yeah.
media doesn't look at this, and there's no way unless you out there help us get to your congressman, get to your local media and say, get off your behinds because my friends that have cancer are dying because they can't afford to come here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank God I put away a little bit of money and my wife still works so I can afford to come here, but heaven's sakes, they don't, it's criminal.
Well, I think as consumers, I would like to see the public say to the health insurance companies, look, if I'm going to spend a fortune with you, and the average for a family of 4 over the last year, I think the average premium has been $1,800 per month, which, by the way, is enough to purchase a new Honda Civic for the health insurance company every year. Okay? So you're buying a new car for the health insurance industry in a year, every year. I think the public should say, I would like to hear the public say, I am telling you, insurance company, what my choices in healthcare are, and you're going to cover them because I'm spending a fortune with you. Instead of having the health insurance industry saying, well, we don't like natural medicine, and we want you to have this, and you're going to have this imaging and not that imaging, or we won't cover it. No, I think there should be some kind of consumers union that says to the health insurance industry, stop dictating the most toxic treatments for cancer. The ones that have been proven to be toxic and ineffective.
The FDA actually states, you can go to their website and states, it says chemotherapy is toxic poison that kills both normal and cancerous cells.
Yes.
It states that.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what it is.
And the new FDA, I think, is more honest than we've had in many decades. So maybe it'll even improve after this point. But we're still early in
So
this.
the choice you have to make, and the choice I had to make was, okay, am I going to go over and get a treatment that your doctor is going to say is nonsense?
Yeah.
Okay? Your oncologist will say is nonsense.
Yeah.
Your family will probably say is nonsense.
Right.
But it works. And the reason why, I'm an old naval aviator, okay? I'm a Midwestern guy. And I tell the truth. And I needed to find out for me, okay? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a chemist. I'm not anything. But I was able to discern and understand enough about how a cell works and how cancer grows, what a free radical is, and how cancer forms. Then I was able to find out, okay, if cancer forms that way and a cancer cell is different than a normal cell in a lot of different ways after it becomes damaged by free radicals, which is toxins that come into your body, or a bad diet, all sorts of different things. But as they grow, the cancer cells grow, the different elements that you put in the nutrition bag will stop that oxidative stress, that freight train that's going and crazy. You've got to stop it, okay, before it gets huge.
Right.
I found out something interesting the other day. By the time a doctor can say you have cancer, you have a tumor that's a quarter inch. A tumor has to get a quarter inch big before it can be found, so to speak.
Right.
There's 250 million cancer cells in a quarter inch tumor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that starts to spread in your body. Those things are expanding it doubles in size, every 3 to 6 months?
It depends on the, there are some fast-growing cancers, some slow-growing. Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have a lot of cancer cells, okay? You've got to have stuff that stops it growing, but you have to have stuff that kills it, okay? Chemotherapy will not kill it all. Surgery will not get it all. Radiation will kill normal and cancer cells, but it damages cells as well.
And it damages DNA, which can create new cancer, brand new cancer.
And so there's nothing good that I was able to find out about standard oncology treatments except for one thing. Insurance pays for it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only self-redeeming quality it has, but it does extend life.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're going to die in 6 months and you get a drug that will give you 3 more years, okay. I mean, I can understand it, but the reason why people choose that, they don't know about this. I stumbled on this by chance because I found that video.
Right. And that's how people come here. They either saw the video or they had never heard of it. And it tends to be hit or miss like that. So it's very unfortunate because there are people who had extremely horrible experiences with chemotherapy and are no longer here. Whereas if they had heard of this clinic and if they had heard that this was an option, they'd still be here. They'd still be, looking and feeling great.
85% remission rate, 5% or less remission rate, but it's going to cost you some money.
I have to say something in humility. I can't take credit for the entire, in other words, our IV nutrients can't take credit for that entire 85% success. The thing is, of people who did those treatments, but they didn't give up eating sweets, there was only 36% remission.
That's right.
So Look how impactful that is.
I had to do
of getting the sugar out of the diet.
One of the things that you need to understand about cancer, and I had to understand about cancer, I never appreciated the fact that what you put in your body would feed the cancer and make it grow over a period of years.
Right.
Your body is a marvelous machine, and stop me when I say something wrong, but your body has all these anti-cancer defenses built in.
Yeah, the immune system. Mm-hmm.
It's a marvelous, marvelous thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it destroys the stuff. You've got cancer in your body right now. Everybody has cancer. Just like you said earlier, it's over here. It takes care of excess sweets. It does it does some good stuff.
Yeah.
Until it gets damaged and gets into uncontrollable growth.
If I may add to that, sugar is such an embedded aspect of our culture. All over the world, people just love sugar, and they love sweets, and so it makes it hard for people to even believe that it could be that harmful. Yet I believe that sugar is connected with the 3 leading causes of death. Clearly diabetes. Yes. Diabetes is excess sugar. Definitely cancer. And I would argue heart disease as well. And those are the 3 leading causes of death if you exclude anomalies like COVID and COVID vaccines, etc. Okay, so this is similar to, let's say, go back to the 1940s and 50s and 60s, and a lot of people smoked like chimneys. If you had tried to tell them, look, that's going to kill you, this is going to give you lung cancer, I think they would have thought,
They
oh,
laughed.
no. Right.
They
Because
laughed.
it was such a common thing to do. Everybody smoked. The floor
The
everywhere's
movie
an ashtray.
stars, the
Yes.
movie stars smoked.
Yeah, yeah. You walked into a store and it was basically an ashtray.
Yes.
There were cigarette butts lying all over the people had stepped on, and on the sidewalks as well. And so it was just commonly done. How could it possibly be that harmful? And then, Everett Koop got his message through.
Because those toxins
Yeah.
get in your body. They're in your body when you do it. It goes.
Yeah.
When you get a nicotine high, guess what's happening? All those toxins are going all around your body.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But it was such an embedded part of the culture,
is.
like sugar is now,
But I had to, as part of accepting this path forward, okay, back in when I began my treatments here in July of 2024, I gave up the following. I went on a keto diet.
Mm-hmm.
I am doing somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 carbs a day for a year and a half, which means I haven't had a cookie in a year and a half. I gave up
Me neither, if it's any comfort.
I gave up beer. I gave up hard liquor. I gave up my favorite thing in the world, wine. And I changed my life. I exercise daily because that's another thing that kills cancer. If you build up the
Yeah.
oxygen level in your
Yeah.
thing and do exercise,
Yeah,
that kills cancer.
yeah.
So you have to change your life. You can get the treatments, but if you don't change your life, it goes from an 85% remission to a 35% remission.
Exactly.
Now, that's still better than a 5% or less remission,
Yes.
but you have to join this process,
All right.
and you have to say, I'm going to beat this stuff, and I'm going to get my life back, and when you get your life back, it's going to be a better life.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, yeah. Don't
It's
you
a
feel
better
better?
life. Yes.
I mean, don't you feel better than when we were eating sugar and,
But you need to help us get the message out, because I guarantee you, if ABC News or CBS News or NBC News or Fox News or CNN or anybody came down to the clinic and actually saw people and talked to people and told the story about those
Yeah.
people, how long do you think it would be before our senators, if you want to call them that, would say, I'm going to help get insurance, get it on. It's not, Medicaid and Medicare will not pay for this treatment. I'm an old guy, okay? People that get
They won't
elderly,
pay for it.
they won't pay for it.
Yep.
So
Neither do the other insurance
No.
companies, the
So
private. Yeah.
we need help in that. We got to get and yell and scream about this, and you have
Yes.
to know enough about it from a guy that doesn't know anything about chemistry or anything, but I've learned in a short period of time, thanks to Dr. Huber and her staff, how cancer is beaten and how to do it. I encourage you, please, take a look at it. I'm going to go to the next slide now, because this is important for me, for Dr. Huber to comment on. When I told people I'm coming to a naturopathic clinic, they said, oh, they're not real doctors.
Hmm.
That's what I was told.
Explain the license on the wall, then, I would say to them.
But they...
And, may I address one other thing about that? Do you know that the naturopathic medical curriculum includes twice as many courses and twice as many classroom hours as the MD curriculum? I'm sorry. I hope I didn't
Keep
steal
going
your
on that.
thunder.
That's where we were going. Go
Oh,
with it.
okay. I didn't mean to steal any
No.
thunder. But yes, it's very vexing because, there are medical doctors out there who will assume that if they just assert that they are the ultimate arbiter of what constitutes medicine, and the naturopathic physicians have nothing to say. I like to remind them of that. The naturopathic curriculum, medical curriculum of 4 years, includes the entire MD curriculum. So where did the other 2 years of the 4 years go? Okay, the thing is, after that, the MD students are on rotations, and they're doing, these massive rotations, surgery, cardiology, pulmonology, etc.
Resident, intern, residency,
yes,
all that stuff. And you're in school.
We are in school with full-term cardiology courses. And full-term pulmonology, full-term neurology, gastroenterology, urology, geriatrics, pediatrics, gynecology. I mean, all the way down endocrinology. So we're getting all that in the classroom. Yeah, and we have to do rotations too. Now, I have to acknowledge that the medical doctor curriculum does have far more patient visits than the naturopathic curriculum. For example, I think we only have to, I might get the numbers mixed up. Was it 700 patient consults to graduate? And I think I had over 1,000 because I really wanted to get a lot of them. But anyway, yeah, I think the 700 was the minimum number. Well, I would say that an MD student, medical doctor student, probably has about 10,000, I'm gonna say, and maybe that's too generous, I don't know, but they do have quite a bit more than, and that's what they're doing while we're still in the classroom. So we're getting those full-term courses academically of things that they're learning in the real world, and okay, so there's benefits to both, right? But anyway, yeah, so when they say, oh, they're not real doctors, really? I don't think you want a curriculum. You know why? There are medical doctors who have attempted the naturopathic board exams at the end of those 4 years, which includes the MD curriculum and all that information. Not one medical doctor passed our clinical board exams even once. There was one veterinarian who passed once. And that was at a time and a place when it was allowed to just sit for other exams. But there are MDs, medical doctors, who then went and did the entire naturopathic medical curriculum. Well, I consider those people real bona fide naturopaths as well as real bona fide medical doctors. And of course they passed. But the people who just came in and sat for our exams, nobody passed except one veterinarian once.
Now, why is that important? It's important to a cancer patient, me, and hopefully to you, because where the medical doctors get their information after they're out is from the pharmaceutical world. The main supplier of information to medical doctors is the pharmaceutical world, the medical industry, if you will. And that medical industry is not going to supply information concerning naturopathic medicine. Period. End of conversation.
Right.
And I have a niece that works in that industry and goes and sees the doctors, and she's exceptionally knowledgeable, but she didn't know a dang thing about naturopathic medicine. And the reason why I chose here and chose you is because you could explain to me, where my primary care physician or my oncologist can't, what happens inside a cell to cause the cancer to grow. And what are the things inside a cell that you have to manipulate to make it not grow?
Right.
You know that.
Right.
And you're giving treatments to us that stop the cancer from growing and also kill the cancer.
And if I may say, for viewers who are interested, there's a tab on the website, natureworksbest.com. That tab is Cancer and Biochemistry. So if you click on that, you'll be taken to 30-some videos in which I say, today, let's look at the role of vitamin B1. Let's look at the role of vitamin B2, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So you can learn about how your body really works. How cancer gets there, what it is, and then why is vitamin A important? Why is vitamin K important? Why do you have to exercise? All these things are in there, and I'm literally telling you, she saved my life.
Thank you.
Well, no, thank you. We're going to go on to the next slide, because I have a bone to pick with naturopathic doctors. Okay?
Okay.
And the bone is this. I had to find you. You didn't find me. I didn't know anything about your world. And the only way I found out is by getting cancer. Now, why?
Otherwise we would have been invisible.
Why
Yeah.
can't I was in sales and marketing my entire business life with companies like Procter and Gamble and Clorox and Del Monte, so I know a little bit about developing new products and I know a little bit about marketing. And this is a product.
Yeah.
And there's no advertising of the product. You've explained why the one video that was out there got taken off by Jeff and all that off Amazon Prime. But we've got to find a way that people like me get bombarded with information about you. And the thing that I would love your industry, your naturopathic camaraderies to do is, I know you have to have an association. I know you have to get together. I know one of your doctors was just in Europe at a conference. This information about naturopathic medicine that kills cancer has got to be communicated.
Yeah.
If somehow or other, you group of doctors have got to find a way to get the word out that, excuse me, I've got a magic bullet here that'll give you an 85% remission rate
Yeah.
if you decide to join, or you can go over here and get 3 years of life and ruin your life
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
If I hadn't found you, I might be dead now. Okay? I need you guys to scream. Now, I know that she has done so many things to try to scream. I can't tell you.
I could tell you about some more of the brick walls.
And there's a lot of them.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying, somehow or other, you guys as a group, if you guys all went and made an appointment, if there were 100 naturopathic doctors from around the world that used medicine that killed cancer, and you got on an airplane and went to see RFK, got an appointment set, that would be covered. Okay? If you got 100 doctors going in and it's go see Trump, you got to do something to get the word out, because folks like me that don't stumble upon you
Yeah.
die.
I know.
So
They're suffering
that's
for
my
not knowing.
That's my bone to pick. I'll shut up about that, but I need your help out there too, and the same thing I'm doing. I'm so bad at podcasts I couldn't even get my phone to connect to here today. But I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to make it so the information is out there in multiple vehicles, but I need help. I need your help, and I need you guys to somehow find a way to get the word out, because this is marvelous stuff. I know you may not realize every day of your life how many people you've touched and saved. Maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Thank you.
But there are thousands of people out there that need you. There are.
Yeah.
And they don't know a damn thing about you. Or people like you all over the world. How can we do that?
Well, the School of Hard Knocks has told me how not to do that. For example, naively relying on Google to show this clinic in search results. Well, that was naive. So I said, okay, let me start an ad with Google. And 12, 15 years ago, I started doing that. But Google removed every single one of the ads that I put up over the years, so that of the 31, there's only one of those left. And even that one, they said, well, we're limiting your visibility. Why are they limiting the visibility? Oh, because you see, that's health in personal advertising. I said, look, show me the toggle where I can toggle off the personal advertising health thing. So I do toggle it off. Then they say, we're still limiting your visibility. So I go back in and it got automatically toggled on again. So I toggle it off. It's just, Google has been very antagonistic, especially since they signed a deal with GlaxoSmithKline, I want to say maybe a decade or so ago. Anyway, and probably they've got more deals than only that one. But it just kind of opened my eyes to, Google's going to be difficult too. And because Google's difficult, YouTube is difficult. So I haven't put a new cancer and biochemistry up since 2020. Why? Because I was very outspoken about COVID, and they don't want to hear about COVID on YouTube. So I thought, okay, now I'm going to risk my cancer and biochemistry videos being taken down, because they love to deplatform people, because they got away with it, because the imperial kingdom of censoring search engines has just been unopposed by either judiciary or executive branch, and maybe, some the legislature as well.
I what we can do,
Yeah.
what I'm going to do, and what senators, and we've got two of them here. One of them is a former naval aviator, and if I ever see him person to person, which I hope I'm going to do because I'm going to deliver some things to his office. One of the mottos of a naval aviator is, I will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor will I tolerate among us those who do.
Okay.
He's lying about this stuff. He's lying about the fact he takes money from the industry. He knows damn well this exists, and he won't do anything about it. Okay? That's dishonest. Terribly dishonest. We have to raise this as an issue so you can live, I can live, and other people can live, because Medicare, Medicaid is essential. Insurance coverage is essential.
Yeah.
We have got to do
Exactly.
it. We've got to wake them up. And if enough people contacted the local media stations in different cities, wherever you live, and say, hey, there's a real live thing out here that kills cancer. Why aren't you covering it? Okay, there's got to be a way to do it, folks, and that's what I'm committed to. Doctors committed to it, and we need your help to do it. And I want to kind of there was a chapter about you in Defeat Cancer.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That book. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great book, and you stated things that you do. I think I'm going to try to quote you. You said that I do everything in my power to defeat cancer with anything that I can use that'll work, but I cannot do harm
Right.
to anybody in any way.
Yeah.
Period. End of conversation.
Exactly.
And that's what your clinic is
As
all
long
about.
as it works and does not cause harm, let's look
Bingo.
at it.
Let's
Yeah.
take a look at it.
Yeah.
That is the Hippocratic Oath.
Mhm.
That's my touchstone.
Yeah.
And that's what you do.
First do no harm. That is rule number 1. But within first do no harm, look at all the great stuff available to us.
Bingo.
Let's start using those.
Now this stuff kills cancer. I'm finishing with one question that I've heard you say. I read also in a book about you, and I'm just going to read it. I'm going to ask you this question. Do you know without a doubt that chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery are not the best ways to defeat cancer? Do you know that without one hesitation?
I have a nuanced answer, if I may.
Go ahead.
Chemotherapy, I have never seen anyone who benefited. I really haven't. I've met a lot of post-chemotherapy patients. I don't think anybody was improved overall and for the long run from their chemotherapy. That I've already dismissed that as an option in my own case. Let's say every time a patient comes in with a cancer from head down to prostate, even though I'll never have prostate cancer, but I have to imagine, what would I do for myself?
Yes.
Chemotherapy is always off the table. No, I'm not having that. That I know for a fact. Okay, now take radiation. Radiation is a significant step upward because radiation can go in there and burn a tumor out. It does have that other risk of, it can change DNA and create new cancers, but, for some people it might have been helpful. You don't want any radiation anywhere in this area because, swallowing, breathing, all that is very important. It depends on the part of the body. Now, another step up is surgery. A lot of times surgery has been a benefit. A lot of times it's been a benefit. It depends on the part of the body. Here again, surgery can be very difficult. I mean, to have somebody try to get surgery of the lung or the esophagus, something in this area of the body, it can be rather tricky. It depends on the part of the body. So surgery has been a benefit to many of the people who've come here.
Well, I had surgery.
Yeah. Okay. But you also had something that's not available to a lot of others, the BCG. I think that's helpful. I think that I've already decided a long time ago, if I had bladder cancer, yes, I would want BCG. I think it's a really good adjunct.
And it works together with your treatments exceptionally well.
Yeah.
The thing about surgery that I don't like, even though it saved my mom's life with colon cancer, because they could take out a section and they took out lymph nodes. What you have to do is, like when I go for a Mohs surgery, I think for the basal cell on your face and that kind of stuff, they're able to get it all and demonstrate that by a scrape and everything and put it under a microscope and all the cancer cells are gone. If you go in and take a cancer out of an organ that's a big tumor or just a small tumor, there's so many cancer cells that you don't get it all.
Well, and it depends on the organ. Let's say the cancer is in the uterus. Well, the uterus is kind of self-contained. They do a hysterectomy. Well, that cancer is removed. Sometimes they've had to chop up the uterus and then take it out by pieces. Well, then that's more risk of spreading it. And other times they're able to just withdraw it intact. It kind of depends on the part of the body.
Now, do you talk to people about that when they come to the clinic?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You're not ruling out everything.
Oh, no.
So you're going to help set a program for people.
In my case, there is no time, no patient at which I've ever recommended chemotherapy. I have never considered it to be a good idea.
Right.
Now, I consider that the absolute basement of options. Radiation somewhat better. Depends on the circumstances. Depends on the person.
Okay.
Let's say there's a big old tumor in the lung. Surgery is going to have a very tough time trying to get that out. But maybe radiation is more of an option for them. Or in the bone, perhaps, while being an adjunct to our treatments. And then above that, I would say surgery, when it's available, might be a really good thing.
Then let me ask you a follow-up.
Sorry. Yeah.
Because in your book, in that Defeat Cancer book, you also said, they quoted you as saying, that you would not, if you got cancer, you would not do those things. Maybe you would, but it said, gee, that wouldn't be my choice for you to treat your own cancer.
Yeah, definitely not chemotherapy.
Okay.
And radiation maybe depends on the circumstances.
Okay, cool.
Depends on the circumstances.
That's
Surgery,
good advice.
maybe, likely, surgery has been a good adjunct for these treatments. Because the enviable scalpel can just remove a mass, whereas we're kind of attacking it cell by cell.
All right. Now, when I got that...
But it depends on the circumstances. Yeah.
Does your treatment, the nutrient bag, work on all cancers?
We have not had a cancer that it does not work on. Brain cancer is harder because it's harder to get past the blood-brain barrier. But we have had good results there, but we haven't had as good as I would like. Actually, to be honest, with the brain cancer, because we have not had as good results as I would like, we've often said, look, go to Dr. Brzezinski in Houston, because Dr. Brzezinski in Houston has had better results with a kind of natural treatment. His own invention of it. And he's been doing that for over 30 years, I'm pretty sure.
Do you have any children?
Yeah.
Okay. If one of your children gets cancer, would you bring them here to the clinic for the treatments?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But if they had brain cancer, I'd
take them to Houston.
I think I would take them to Houston to Dr. Brzezinski because he's got a better track record for brain cancers. So, yeah, I think I would probably do that.
Is there anything in traditional oncology concerning brain cancer that would be effective?
Well, they often opt for surgery. But I don't like irradiation of the brain, and I definitely don't like what they did about a decade ago, which was all the rage for a little bit. whole brain radiation because the patient did not live much longer after that. And obviously, I told patients who were offered that, you got to be kidding me. If you get a whole brain radiation, how can you do such a self-destructive thing? I tried to be tactful, but no, you don't want a whole brain radiation. That would be so off the table for me.
All right.
I mean, so again, it depends on the part of the body. It depends on the circumstance. By the way, speaking of Mohs, that's not my choice for skin cancers. Skin cancer actually responds very well to natural treatments. Why? Because we get the IV nutrients coming from up underneath the skin through the bloodstream, but we also get the topical effect, and I like the topical effect. In other words, surround and destroy the skin cancers. So,
do you know that I haven't had any skin cancer since July when I started my treatments?
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So this works. I also have ALA, alpha lipoic acid cream at home that I put on my face. That Dr. Reich recommended.
Okay.
So anyway, it works.
Yeah. I like the surround and destroy when we can get it. We can get that in the GI tract to some extent for GI tract cancer.
The other thing that
even in the lungs, we can get it in the lungs too.
Okay.
But anyway, go ahead.
But my cancer, is bladder cancer, stage 0. You would think that, that goes away and never comes back. Well, that's not true.
Yeah. In
my cancer, which is often considered as a likely cancer for treatment and all that kind of good stuff, 60 to 90% of the patients that have my cancer that go through my procedure with the urologist, TERP and BCG, 60 to 90% of those people in 3 to 5 years get a recurrence of cancer.
Yeah.
Now, that's important because when it comes back, it's usually not a stage 0.
Right.
Okay, and what happens in the first 5 years after you get my cancer, 20% of the people that get my cancer that have my treatments die. When the cancer comes back in 3 to 5 years, 40% of the people that get that cancer die.
Yeah.
If it comes back 3 to 5 years later, then the odds are 70%.
Yes,
die.
Because the cancer is getting more entrenched all the time.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And so, to me, I'm coming to the clinic to make sure now, even though I'm in remission, I'm coming and getting an annual treatment program to keep the stuff from coming back.
Yeah.
So once you get it in remission, it doesn't mean you can walk away and go, I won. You can't.
A lot of people do.
I know.
I get really worried somebody comes in and says, I'm going to be here for a few months. Well, when can I start eating sugar again? And I'm like, oh my gosh. See, the thing is, back in the day, I used to help smokers. I mean, people don't smoke so much anymore, but I used to help smokers quit. And the thing that terrified them was, you mean I'll never be able to have another cigarette as long as I live?
That's right.
And I said, don't look at it that way. Don't look at it as this whole long, torturous lifespan without a cigarette. Just get through today. Today, I will not smoke. That's what you've got to do today. Tomorrow, when you say it again, today I will not smoke, it'll be a little bit easier because there's a little bit less nicotine in you, a little bit less of that addictive property in you. So when you're getting used to a food plan, a diet with no sugar in it, then you just have to take it one day at a time. Make appetizing food. Have appetizing food today that just happens to not be sweetened. Then tomorrow, you're going to be able to do it again. Just take it one day at a time. So anyway.
What I do, if it means anything, is I now get low carb yogurt, 3 to 5 carbs in a yogurt. And raspberries and blackberries are good in fighting cancer. And so I have raspberries with yogurt as my replacement for cookies. And then during the day, my replacement for a cookie is I have found low-carb tortillas from Hero Bread that are delicious. And I put sugar-free peanut butter on it and roll it up. That's my treat during the day. Now, has my life changed in what I eat? You betcha. But I have a life. okay? And I feel good.
Yay!
And I
glad
can
about
play
that.
golf again.
Yay!
And I'm going to
Awesome.
keep on going, and I'm going to keep this stuff away. Thank God for Colleen Huber.
You're so kind. Thank you.
No.
Well-
No.
You make
Look.
my job a happy experience.
Well,
I get to drive away from here and say, wow, things are working out.
And for you, all I can do is ensure that I did one heck of a lot of research, because it's my life. It's your life. You're going to do your own research, okay? If watching this gets you to do the research, cool. But I can tell you this stuff works. This isn't a made-up thing of, eat tinfoil. It's not Mickey Mouse stuff, okay? This works. And my God, chemotherapy does not work. When you go through my podcast, please spend time on the FDA slides and how they do it. It's despicable. And a year and a half ago, before I got cancer, I didn't care about any of this stuff. I cared about my mom. She finally died at age 98 of bone cancer. She got colon cancer when she was 50. So she fought it and lived with it, and I'm going, you can fight cancer. I guess I had a family member that did. It doesn't work that way. She got lucky. I don't want to get lucky with my life, okay? I just don't. And I know that if I do
You mean
everything...
you don't want to entrust it to mere luck?
No.
Yeah,
No, I want luck, but I don't want to trust my life of whether or not I make it the next year.
Yeah, to luck alone.
I don't want that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want that.
Right.
So I'm keeping stuff away. I've changed my diet, and I'm continuing here. I do vitamin C treatments. I do ALA. I do mistletoe and Christmas rose injections. I've changed my life. I do red light therapy. I do all the things, and I exercise every single day. I don't want this stuff back. This stuff is horrible. And the treatments in traditional oncology are horrible. That's me. But I want to live, and I want to have my life back. I don't want 5 years, folks. I want my life back.
Yeah.
And I'm getting it. But don't for a minute think it's easy. It's not. It's hard. I loved cookies. And
I'm the Grinch that stole the Christmas cookies.
and you saved my life. So thank you. Thank you. And all you out there, we'll have different videos of Dr. Huber. We'll have my different podcasts out there. This one is there. Please tell a friend. Talk to your elected representatives. Call the media. Do things to get the word out so people can live. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.